Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or good day wherever you are in the world, and welcome to the next episode of No Dice, No Glory. Sponsored by our jobs that actually pay us money, we're coming to you not at all live from an abandoned arms factory deep under a mountain in West Virginia. We are proud to proffer to you the finest in wargaming coverage. Without any further ado, let's get this show on the road.
All right. Looks like I didn't mess up any technical issues this time around. So everybody, welcome to Tales of the Sail, episode 5.3-6. We think we were talking about this earlier, and we realized we've had some interviews with people, and we probably haven't counted them properly. So we're going to go around the room, and the digital room that we are permanently in.
Actually, we're all just quarantine within a breath of each other.
Totally violating quarantine right now. So the man you hear calling to you wistfully across the desolate plains of Pennsylvania would be Glenn Van Meter. So Glenn, say hi.
Hi, I do still reside in Maryland.
I'm just going to pretend that it's Pennsylvania. I feel like that's the mental image of you I have in my head.
It's the whole Amish mistake thing.
That's absolutely right. Tyler Stone, who's also in Pennsylvania.
Yes, I am the actual Pennsylvanian. Hello.
Okay, so I was. If I keep saying it, I'll eventually be right.
Just going to annex Maryland. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. And we're also joined by Joseph Forster, who is joining us from very far away. So where are you calling in from?
From Oregon City, Oregon, other side of the country here.
And he was polite enough to not call me out on the fact that when I said 9 o'clock, I assumed that everybody is operating on New York time because I work in New York and I live in Connecticut. And this is Tom Cherborn Mullane.
East Coast elitists. Yeah,
that's exactly right. I am the East Coast elitist that everybody has trained themselves to hate. So we're back here for Tales of the Sail, and this is our Blood and Pigment episode because we're going to chat a lot about a blog that's done a lot to teach people about painting in the community. And that's Joseph's bag. We'll get to him. So we're going to kind of go around the digital table and just chat about what we've been up to while we've all been stuck here in quarantine. I think I'm closest to the worst epicenter of things. So I haven't bought groceries in 4 weeks, but I have a lot of canned goods because my wife is preparing for the apocalypse. With that in mind, there may be a tornado coming that will knock me out, but Craig will continue, who's the person recording this, and hopefully they'll be able to continue even if I'm destroyed by a thunderstorm. So what I've been doing is I've been playing with Tabletop Simulator a lot. I keep playing with all the fun ships and messing around with the cards, but I'm just not very good at it. So I'm going to pester Glenn to teach me the game so I can participate in the big campaign that's going to be going on. There is an online gaming convention that No Dice, No Glory is sending kind of a team to. I realize that sending is a really relative term. But I'm going to be there, and I'm going to try to be playing some Firelock games while I'm there online on the Tabletop Simulator. I'm painting my Dutch ship, and I'm using some of the really awesome feedback that people are giving on the website to like different washes I can use, different colors of brown I can try to make it look like a realistic ship. And I'm experimenting with a few different parts, and then I'm going to repaint the thing when I have one that I like. The other things that I'm doing, and then I'll stop talking because I've been talking too much, is I'm building a greenhouse for my wife with scrap windows and a lot of hope. And I'm also harassing my students who are graduating in 2 weeks digitally in a weird drive-through ceremony that I have been forced to help coordinate. And so that's what I've been up to. And I will turn it over to Glenn. Glenn, what have you been doing while under quarantine?
So wait, they're all getting their MIC diplomas?
Yes, essentially. They're getting they show up a week before for a covert operation, and they get their picture taken being handed a diploma in an empty theater, and they record it.
Wow.
And then we're going to play it on a big screen, like a drive-through screen, and they're all going to be in this huge traffic jam heading through the parking lot.
Wow. Also, a quick note on your greenhouse. You better have some strong dreams, because if you are having a tornado, that will just level that structure.
Well, one of the walls is part of the garage we have, and I'm confident that garage is not going to fall down.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, although I had great dreams for quarantine, it has just wrecked anything that I can try and do. We changed to an insane schedule at work. I think I might have mentioned that last time, but as much as I thought that it would give me some free time to do stuff, the lack of kid going to daycare and other things means I'm busier than ever. So the best I've been able to do is a couple of demos on Tabletop Simulator for Oak and Iron, and then like trying to patronize my local store by pretty much buying up the entire stock of Oak and Iron miniatures, because apparently they only ordered one of everything. So that's all I've been up to aside from the usual farming and whatnot.
Which is your local store, by the way, Glenn?
I patronize games and stuff in Glen Burnie, Maryland, the most. Although there are a few other local stores that I've been trying to work on and get Blood and Plunder going in. In fact, I was just starting those efforts when coronavirus hit, and I had to cancel a whole bunch of demo sessions.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat there.
Back in March. Yeah, I just got notice that Games and Stuff is reopening this weekend. So is, I believe, Gamer Core, Third Eye in Annapolis. Like a whole bunch of area stores are starting to reopen, but of course none of them have their gaming sections open. It's just retail, and they only want like 5 or 10 people in the store at a time. So I don't know when we're going to be able to get back to doing demos to, help get more people to play.
Tyler, go ahead and talk to what you've been up to.
So I have the opposite problem of Glenn, where I have a lot of free time. I just haven't been really using any of it to paint or put models together, do anything like that, because I have the willpower of a goldfish on speed. So I've just been playing video games and watching a lot of Netflix, because someone thought it'd be cool to put Avatar back on Netflix. I have been playing the solo play rules, though, with the Blood and Plunder stuff that they put out. So while everyone else is being sociable and on Tabletop Simulator, I've been hermit playing games on my kitchen table against myself.
Yeah, I've never seen Avatar before, so I was really excited to start watching it, and it's like surprisingly sophisticated show.
Yeah, it is pretty good. The other thing is, just because I'm like that, I've been trying to brush up on the 18th century stuff since the new fire starters and the new expansion that we talked about with Mike recently is going to kind of be moving us out of everything I've spent time learning.
I saw a lot of his posts about like the molds are coming, and he was like, I was excited about that because I did back the Kickstarter, or the fire starters rather, because I wanted to get a whole North American tribes fight going with like militia guys.
Yep.
So I bought a couple of packs of the natives to get me started.
I wasn't expecting that I was going to want them as much as I do now, and I really regret not backing the fire starter.
I feel like that's the short list of stuff you have. Joseph, go ahead.
I was just saying those natives look really cool that they put together.
Did you wind up backing any of those guys, or?
Oh yeah.
Does that chuckle mean you backed all of them?
Yeah. Gotta have a complete set. I'm a completionist, at least when it comes to games.
Oh, of course.
I'm starting to think about getting a French force because I feel like I don't know. I just starting to appeal to me as I'm rereading the rule books and figuring out what I want to have as another demo force.
Because you feel
they're really good, but maybe that's because I play against them a lot.
Glenn, were you getting ready to mock me for still having not won this game, even against myself?
Well, no, because everybody's losing because nobody can play right now. So,
That's true. Joseph, talk to us about what you've been up to out in Oregon.
A little bit of this and a little bit of that. I've been one of the main Blood and Plunder projects I've been working on is building up this Palisade fort. They released it maybe a couple months ago, and then they were kind enough to send me some advanced copies of the bastions, big square corners for the wooden Palisade fort. So I painted that up, which was extremely tedious with like 250 pokey logs.
Now, are you making it more difficult for yourself because of how you like it to look?
No, it's just a lot of repetitive painting.
Okay. 'Cause I this friend of mine who is like a meticulous painter, and I just slop stuff all over the walls, and I'm like, it's done. And I realize that doesn't put me in good company with the painters and stuff we got on here.
I'm kind of in between.
Okay.
I like it the way I like it, but sometimes if there's too much of it, I'll start to go fast.
So what does the Palisade Fort come with? You said you got the bastions and stuff. So like, kind of paint us a visual picture of what the kit is.
The kit they have online right now is 4 corners and 4 just straight pieces. So it's like a 8-part resin kit, 1 gate. You can shoot a cannon through the hole in the gate. So it's a lot of resin. It's kind of expensive, but it's because it's so much resin. And then these bastions, like double the size of the fort. They just have huge area to put troops in. And then I bought another fort so I can make the fort bigger. So now I have 8 pieces of horizontal, of just straight wall. So I've been playing some solo games with that. They are still tweaking the actual rules for it. They released the fort, but they haven't released stats or anything for it. So I've been doing a little bit of play testing and reporting back to Mike and Liam, who is helping them develop the rules for it. So that's been my main thing. I've been painting some other miniatures here and there, but
Now I see on my list that you painted the 6th rate. Is it in progress? Is it finished? Where are you at with that?
it's languishing. I started it, but I was right off the heels of finishing my galleon, and I just lack the willpower to tackle that monster project again. But actually, the main thing is I can't decide on a paint scheme for it. I've been looking at images of real ships online, and I can't find one that matches it really well. And there's just strange breakups of areas, so I can't decide what color. And just
Have you seen in the Oak and Iron group? They posted a painting guide for those ships broken down by nation.
Yeah, that's really helpful by Benderson Little. Very nice. I should pour over that, and but then I have to decide which nation I want to use it for, because I ambitiously try to play every nation in Blood and Plunder. So,
Well, I give kudos to you because I still can't get over the hump of trying to get my first ship painted. It's been sitting. It's sitting on the corner of the modeling desk, staring at me as I keep going past it. And I even know that I'm just gonna. It's a bark that I'm gonna paint it wood. I'm not even making anything fancy with it, and I just cannot get myself to do it.
Well, it sounds like
you can do that.
It sounds like all of you have painter's block. So I'll make the suggestion that we make like a date to do a video chat where we can just start it, because I don't know about you, but I find that I'm a lot more motivated to paint when I'm sitting chatting with people. So
that is really nice.
My brother-in-law is on the Reaper miniatures. Like, there's a bunch of different hangouts that different paint companies have, but yeah, I just like it better.
See, I usually just need deadlines. Like, if I needed this for demos, which was the original case, it would have been done because I had a deadline. But now there's nothing happening.
I've been trying to paint out my Black Carib force too, which is kind of strange force to paint for because it has 1 core unit.
How do they play? Like, what are the rules for them again? Because I don't think I've actually seen them in any of the tournaments or events that we've helped run with these guys.
Yeah, I don't think many people play them. They're kind of like a native force, but they're not a native. They're in the unaligned section, but they have a lot of the same rules. They can't take big ships. They can lay in wait. They start with just bows. You can give them muskets. You can change their weapon loadout quite a bit, but they're pretty much a tough, multi-purpose unit 6 points each. They have all the fancy rules: quick, skirmishers, elusive. I think elusive. So they're a pain in the neck to fight, but
What does elusive do as a rule again? I forget.
Just a bonus to your cover save, as long as you're not in a structure. Basically, count
you're
cover
in-
as a structure.
Oh wow, seriously?
it counts soft cover as hard cover, basically.
Oh, that's nuts.
So I've been trying to handpick any other models that look African-y enough to paint dark.
Wait,
so I
what
have
is-
more than 4 models for the units?
What is spry?
If you have 0 fatigue, you roll 1 less fatigue dice when you're in melee combat.
Oh wow.
Oh man.
So when they get in melee, they're really hard to get rid of. Or maybe it's a -1 to their it's a -1 to their melee save when they're in melee combat, which means their melee save goes down to 5, which is as good as it gets in the game.
I feel like my favorite part of this game is that like there are still little things and nuances to it that I'm figuring out. Like it's very quick to learn, but then there's just depth to the way the units can interact and how you can build the
Special
forces.
rules are where it's all at,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
So okay, go on.
Me?
So Joseph, you said that you pointed out that the core units for Black Caribs of the African Warriors. I'm sitting here looking at the list now, and your support units are Lanceros, Warriors, Young Warriors, Warrior Musketeers. What do you usually go for support units, or do you just keep all to the African Warriors?
I've been doing Young Warriors just because they're cheap. If you're paying 5 or 6 for every other, or 7 or 8 for every other model in your core lineup, I'd like to have a couple, some cheap guys just to get more bodies on the board.
I can understand that.
And then you also said that you're looking for other models, because that's one thing outside of, you kind of have to go outside the Firelock range on this, because they only have the 1 unit of Africans. Like whenever I did Perico game, to paint up a bunch of Scari from, oh no, I can't remember now. I painted up a bunch of third-party minis. So what are you using for other stuff? Are you looking through the Congo line of models, or?
They're a little too Zulu-y, the other ones I've seen. So first, I'm grabbing models from other Firelock units. So I've taken some Lanceros and just pretend it's a melee weapon. There's some Lanceros that are obviously meant to be African descent. I'm taking some Indian natives, like the warrior archers, and some of the Milicianos Indios Spanish unit. Anything that looks remotely African, and just painting it up with darker skin to have some variety. Although,
Well, so you are keeping it all in the family then, more or less.
pretty much, there's another set I have that I haven't dug into, but a buddy of mine has used a bunch of Celts from Warlord games.
Oh
They're
yeah,
Celts
yeah,
and Romans. They're like
good.
crazy guys with clubs and sticks with primitive looking shields. And he painted their model as white guys, but if you paint them up dark, they look pretty good actually.
Those are great sculpts, actually. I've used those.
And they're plastic, so you can kind of vary their positions.
I'll have to look into that, because I've wanted to put together Black Caribs.
Yeah, I definitely want to do a native forest, and I was debating. I think I'm going to start with a North American one with the units that I have, and sort of pair it up with like Dutch militia and have them be fighting with the Dutch or something like that.
South American tribes are where it's at. They're the best.
Well,
There's a
Tom,
player who's like super good who plays with the South American tribes.
Yeah, they're murder.
Well, Tom, once the coronavirus comes to an end and we start having conventions in 30 years, we can get we can put on a big scenario in North America, because I'm also starting to go towards some North American tribes.
All right. I look forward to being on the losing end of whatever we design.
I figured we would be putting a scenario on so other people could play.
That's actually a very smart idea, because this way I can't lose, because by helping other people, I win.
We all win.
That's right. Joseph, you have something here that says this land is my land. What is that about?
That's actually what's distracting me from getting more painting done. You guys mentioned computer games you're playing. This is a Steam computer game that's actually early release. But speaking of natives, this is a North American natives game where you're playing as an Indian trying to get rid of all the settlers in your territory.
Oh, interesting.
Quite
Nice.
intriguing. It's kind of had me addicted staying up too late. It's quite hard, at least for me. But might be worth a look. It's kind of expensive for being an early release, but it seems like a pretty good game.
Is it like a grand tactic and strategy kind of game?
Yeah, it's a third person, so you're running around doing stuff yourself, but you're also managing increasing number of camps, upgrading warriors. You can lead around groups of warriors, attack a fort yourself, and you can either just go massacre everybody and get bad reputation, so their opponents are more aggressive. Animals try to eat you more, or you can sneak up on people, kind of mug them and intimidate them, just make them leave instead of killing them, and then you get positive karma, and people are less aggressive. They're watching for you less, and the animals don't attack you as much. There's a bunch of missions that pop up, different things you can do to try to slow them down or do this or that. It's a huge game.
Huh.
So if you like Native American stuff and want to lose a large portion of your life, look it up.
I got plenty of my life to lose right now, so I'm a teacher about to be on summer vacation. You can't see me if you're listening to this, so I'm making air quotes right now because I don't think I'm going anywhere for this vacation. So the other thing that we typically talk about is Tyler and Glenn and myself have both tried to run demos for new players and stuff like that. What has your experience been with that? Like, what's your local scene like out there in the Pacific?
There's not a lot of players. We have 4 really dedicated players that live quite close that we have done some campaigns. We play a lot together. And then there's been people that come and go. There's a store that has been supporting the game basically since it released, since the Kickstarter first dropped. So that's a good place for us.
Which store?
It's called Geeks and Games. It's not a huge store. But it's
I feel like I've heard of it.
How close of a drive is that for you?
10 minutes.
That's not bad. That's amazing, actually, because
There's a lot of game stores in Portland. The biggest one is one of the biggest game stores I've ever seen. It used to carry Blood and Plunder, but I sold. They had a new owner and they purged everything that wasn't selling like crazy. So now it's a Warhammer store. But yeah, we get games in there.
Don't be afraid to plug local shops.
yeah, celebrate as many of these stores as we can because I like having a place to play and I like giving these guys business. So never feel like you shouldn't speak up and say who these dudes are.
Yeah, there's about 3 or 4 other local players that just haven't. They've painted stuff and they play at home, but they haven't plugged into the community as much.
Are there any big conventions on the West Coast like there are, like the Historicons, the Fall-Ins, the Cold Wars out here in the East?
No. There's one about 2 or 3 hours north of me, but it's always a bad time of year. Although every time is a bad time of year for me with 4 little kids, so I have a hard time getting to those things.
Oof.
But yeah, I haven't got to any local conventions. There's only like 2 gaming conventions within reasonable driving distance all year for me, and one of them is more of a Comic Con, so not much. I've been out to Gen Con once. I was planning to go again this year, but they canceled it.
Yeah, I've never been there before. Either that or Adepticon, but I know that we had planned to be at Adepticon, or there's a couple of us that were planning on being there.
Right.
Why don't you talk to us about Blood and Pigment, the blog?
Well, blog I started about a year and a half ago. I'm kind of sorry about this name. Silly. But it's a blog dedicated just to Blood and Plunder. I got all sorts of Blood and Plunder-ish stuff up there. I do some articles focusing on the factions, kind of digging into how they play, what they're about, and some articles looking at whole nationalities for newer players looking at the game, what they might want to play. I have an article geared just towards new players, trying to tell them what they'll need or what to expect as they jump into the game, and that gets quite a few hits. Do a few painting tutorials, which I've been lax on getting any up there. Then extremely lengthy and wordy battle reports, some craft terrain ideas, just anything that I'm working on. Or I have a couple friends who help me out too, Guy and Dan Carlson. So everything I could think of to throw up there, and I have time to do.
What are some of the things that you've painted or designed for this game that you're most proud of?
Probably my galleon, just because it's so big.
I have still not painted a ship. Neither has Glenn, obviously, but I feel like I have more of an excuse because my ship is bigger, and so it's more intimidating. But
What ship you got there?
I have a sloop,
That's not big.
really big.
Okay, to be fair, the sloop sitting next to the bark, that's next in line. I just can't get over that hump to start the first ship. And I know as soon as I get one ship done, I'll just start on the fleet. Just go.
The rigging terrifies me, and like the huge like laser cut wood pieces that are for the rigging. Like I'm sure it's easy once I sit down to start doing it, but I don't know. It's intimidating for right now.
I have a tutorial up on my blog you can look at.
Well, then I'm gonna go check it out.
Actually, it's not that much for ships. The rigging bits, if you do a sloop or bark, it's not that bad. You just have to kind of do it in chunks. You have to glue this, then come back later and glue that, and come back later and glue that, and hope it doesn't tip after you leave it.
I definitely wanted to make the masts and stuff removable because I wanted it to be able to like fall dramatically and collapse into the water if the mast gets caught, you know.
Good luck with that. That's hard.
You want to make it clear that you're losing?
Yeah, precisely. That's right.
Actually, Joe, I did have not to drag us completely off topic, but one of the things I'm debating, that's one of the reasons I have put everything off, is I couldn't decide if I wanted to stain all this stuff and then glue it together, obviously, because you can't glue and then stain, or if I just wanted to paint everything. Have you experimented with staining the masts and such, or have you just painted everything?
I have stained a couple for the Paraguas and a bark. I stained them or just did use Agrax Earthshade on it to give it a stain, not a real wood stain. But in general, I just usually spray them. I mean, it's tedious enough doing the rigging. I think they look fine, just dark or light. So I don't care either way, but I spray because it's fast.
Now you mentioned that you were working on the Caribbean force, but so what armies do you currently have, and what are your ambitions for the game future wise?
I started out with the Spanish, so I have a whole lot of them, probably a good 120 Spanish models painted. Which, if you're starting the game, it's a bad place to start because you have to paint so many of those Milicianos.
It's like starting Flames of War with the Soviets. That was my mistake.
Yeah, spam. So I have a whole Spanish army. I have a whole English army. I have a lot of natives. I've played a lot of different native factions. I have a Dutch army half built, got about 30 models there, and a French, probably about 20 models. So I have everything but painted, native, English, and Spanish right now.
So what's your favorite to play so far? Like your play style, you know, what have you enjoyed playing the most, do you think?
Oh, that's hard. I'm digging the English Buccaneers right now. They're so versatile. I like the Spanish too, but I feel like I always lose with them. They seem to be. And I think I really like playing this French. I played against the French. A couple of my friends locally play a lot of French, and they always seem to be very painful to fight against. So even though I haven't played them very much, I anticipate them being one of my favorites to play. But yeah, I played all the factions. I like them all, but English Buccaneers are special.
Okay. I remember playing against like a couple of the bigger units of the French. I don't know what the unit was called. Glenn or Tyler will probably know, but they're like they took a big unit of like 12 of these guys, and they had all these extra musket rules, and they were just absolutely
Probably the
devastating.
Buccaneers, veteran Buccaneers with fast
Yeah,
reload, falling shot,
yes,
elusive.
Yep, that's what it was. It was just they just wiped entire units off the table.
Yeah, Buccaneers, marksman.
Hmm.
Oh, and I forgot my very favorite faction, the native faction, the South American tribes. That's my jam, really. I think they're a little bit overpowered. I've crushed some new players by accident. Probably drove them away from the game, but they're so fun.
Is there
Do
a
you think they're
particular?
overpowered even after the bow rules? Because that was originally they
Yeah.
were definitely over the top with the veteran in
Actually-
them and shoot multiple times and then ditch the fatigue.
Oh yeah, the tough rule. I don't know if they're really overpowered. I think once you get the hang of them, you can just crush people's spirit with them because you can just fatigue them out and then charge them when they're dead. I've done that quite a few times. If the poison arrows is the key for them, I think. If you don't have poison arrows, they're mediocre. But once you put those poison arrows on people and start pinging them every turn with poison arrows, it becomes brutal.
And then it becomes very much like that scene in Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, where that guy in the jungle just falls face forward with a little poison dart sticking out of his back.
Right. So yeah, I like the whole game. I want to play every faction.
So Joseph, do you have a preferred native faction to play?
South American tribes is kind of a generic faction. It doesn't have any named commanders, which is kind of sad. But I think they're the best. They have those poison arrows. They have access to tons of those warrior archers that have a good shoot, and then they have elusive on every model too. And they start with a 6 save, so they're getting that 5 cover save all the time. So they're very difficult to kill. They have lousy resolve, but that's your native weakness. So that's, I think, the best one. And they don't have the terrible sound of thunder, which means you get scared every time a gun shoots.
Huh.
They do have Camaro. They have one named character.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I forget.
He's like a 30-point captain, though, so he's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Is that
And
King
I'm not-
Golden Cap, or is that a different one?
It's
He's a Darian.
Antonio Felipe Camarao.
Okay.
Got Inspiring Great Warrior, which is
Oh, yeah.
pretty much standard, and then Tactician.
I don't like Tactician.
Tactician can be really good.
Well, I will say that I've been getting better at like streaming stuff on Discord. Like Mitch showed me how to do that a couple days ago, and so I actually streamed on tabletop and was able to teach like 4 or 5 people how to play with tabletop at the same time. I think
Play
it's my
Plunder?
ambition to kind of use the camera that I have, which is was a birthday gift a couple months ago to start actually like doing a painting tutorial or something online that people would watch maybe. So yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to make the best of the time that we've got, because if I have this many models still unpainted by the time they lift these restrictions, I will not forgive myself.
I'd be happy to ship you models if it means they get painted.
I'd be willing to make a deal, for some farm produce or something, because I know you're baking pies and such.
Actually, we had to just finish. We harvested all the bok choy and lettuce today because otherwise it's wilting in this 80 plus degree heat.
Yeah, we couldn't get ours to. I mean, I have tons of kale, and I need to use it to make soup and stuff like that. So I need to start harvesting the stuff in my garden.
Highly recommend bok choy. It's so much better.
Huh? I'll try it. Every time I've had it, I like it because we'll roast it or grill it. But
Well, it's just more tender to start with. But anyways, back to pirates.
Anyway, sorry.
Back to gaming.
I'm really hungry. Thinking about all these delicious vegetables. 'Cause I haven't eaten vegetables in 4 weeks because we just,
I'm gonna get scurvy.
I haven't been to the grocery store. We have oranges. Let's have oranges just in case.
How do you have
ramen orange?
How many canned things do you have that aren't vegetables?
I don't know. Like sometimes when I want to get a salt poisoning, I'll open one of those Campbell's condensed soup cans.
Is it just a closet of canned tuna?
No, it's a lot of beans. There's beans, there's baked beans, there's dried beans, there's a lot of tomato products, a lot of broth. I don't know. Like it's preparing for the apocalypse. There's a freezer downstairs which has like 16 pounds of chicken in it, and I've just been slow cooker in the chicken. I don't know. I have a new appreciation for the kind of diet that people in the 17th and 16th centuries would have had to endure while they were on the high seas, all the rations and stuff. There's bacon, plenty of bacon. No hardtack or anything like that. I have been taking a rum ration because we did get plenty of rum. And I do like to drink rum while I'm playing the game, which is probably what helps me lose. But if the way to win is not drinking the rum, then I don't want to win.
Let's lose.
Whatever. Let's talk about the upcoming from Firelock games. So let's just mention all the fire starters that are in the process of being shipped. So anybody wants to grab that one?
Oh boy.
I nominate Tyler.
Oh, that they
Yeah, I nominate Tyler as well.
being nominated. I'm voluntold.
You've been nominated. Because I feel like Tyler has already purchased all of these things.
Actually, haven't. I really haven't. I've been really good.
I feel like Tyler
I've been really good for my wallet. I have not been really good for trying to support Firelock, so I feel really guilty now. Thanks.
I do feel like that Tyler probably had input on all the figures, though.
But I did. A joke. That I kind of did. Whenever they hired the sculptor, he's doing a really good job. By the way, I've seen some other stuff coming out.
I'll
And they have a
second
new
that.
guy, too. This is the new guy that Mike was telling us about.
Daniel.
Really like minis, that's for sure.
But I've liked all the sculpts I've seen. They look great.
Yeah, they do. Very dynamic.
So the Braves should be shipping out. The Coureur du Bois. I pronounced that
They've been
right?
out for a couple months.
They have been shipped out.
Yep. They're basically a rehashed Buccaneer. More beards.
Just the Braves, the Indian Fighters, and did they ship out the Milisi Canadian?
Well, they only got
Same.
They only got the molds like yesterday, so they might have started shipping, but they're in production.
Because so we were recording this like right before June hits, basically. So I'm not sure when it'll be posted, but it'll probably be next week, is June's beginning. So we're recording on a Friday night, and I think just as we were recording, I think like yesterday, he was mentioning that the stuff had been shipping.
But knowing Mike, I would not be surprised if he works the entire weekend trying to get as many of these pumped out by Monday as he can.
No, yeah, he's totally doing that. Like, throwing boxes onto like in air freight, like Tom Hanks in the pre lead up to Castaway, at the FedEx store. Mike is in it. He's knee deep in trying to get the stuff shipped, I'm sure.
I have 3 packs, each of these coming, so I have another 36 models to start painting when I get
Oh, you got me. I only did 2.
I'm gonna have to get more of these Braves too if they're the main unit for the new
Yeah, I need to
native.
buy
So
more.
I have to get like 20.
I think I only got 4 of them, so I need to get more of them.
I'm going to be honest, I might have gotten 3 of the Braves, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to go with Warlord just to have some variety in sculpt. The plastic box looks really good.
I got it. I have a bunch of Warlord natives and some North Star natives too. Quite cool. But these guys are pretty big. The Firelock ones look like they're a tiny bit bigger than them, which it doesn't bother me. But my other natives from Warlord and North Star are a tiny bit small, so it'll be giants and midgets if I mix them up.
Yeah, Warlord seems to run 25s or small 28s.
Yeah.
And I feel like Firelock kind of runs on the larger side of 28 mil.
Which I
Well,
really
it makes
like.
more sense because of the nature of it being a skirmish game and you're not putting in these big units. You want to see more of the detail on it at a slightly larger scale. So
Yeah, I mean, they're packed full of detail, which is
Yeah,
why
they
all
are.
of the Games Workshop stuff lately has been getting gargantuan, is because then they can pack all that detail in.
Yep.
Oh, is that
Yep.
why Space Marines doubled in height?
No, it was
I thought you were going to finish that
aesthetic
sentence with price.
thing, right?
No, Tyler. They've quadrupled in price, please.
Man.
No, but seriously, shout out to about the butcher, man. Daniel Felipe Arias, the new sculptor. He's doing some amazing work. I've also seen some of the previews of stuff, and it is amazing.
Yeah, love it.
As soon as I get some stuff painted, I'm going to start posting it in an article on No Dice No Glory, so I can show off some of the stuff I painted. And the webpage gives you a lot of inspiration. The Facebook group, the Blood and Buccaneering in the Spanish Main. It's some of the stuff guys do is so cool, and I've gotten a lot of really cool ideas from them for painting, terrain,
Just
color
posted
schemes,
up.
everything. So
Ones that Rufus posted up like really sold me on the natives.
He's getting really good with those contrast paints. He's whipping those out.
yes, he is.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Not fair at all.
And we only see
Tyler,
half of it because the rest of it's on the Blood and Valor page.
Yes, that's right. Tyler, I wanted to ask you about the International Tabletop Simulator campaign. Are you one of the generals or no?
I'm not. I was going to be. And it looked like an awful lot of bookkeeping. And back to the goldfish thing, I'm not so hot on that. I also didn't really learn how to play on Tabletop Simulator as much as I wanted to. So I thought it would be best if I backed out because I didn't want to get pulled in as a ringer and I didn't really want to do a lot of the bookkeeping. Those generals are mainly just there to help people find opponents and to kind of
Okay.
handle the
Well, actually,
reporting
it's there to
back.
poke people and tell them to play.
It's to poke folks. Global campaign that they were going to do for Blood and Plunder, that I was going to be a general for, but that was a lot closer. If anyone remembers the old Storm of Chaos or the global campaigns that they've done, other companies have done in the past. One is one where the generals actually pick where you go and what boosts you're going to get for the match and things like that. But they were tossing those rules around, and then the co-apocalypse got us.
Right. Now I remember us discussing it and looking over some of the drafts that they had going for some of that stuff.
Yeah, I think it was supposed
Really
to be a Dutch commander or something. I don't know.
I ended up being the Spanish Grand Admiral for the TTS Oak and Iron campaign.
Yeah, I really wanted to get in on the TTS campaign, and I, again, do not have the time to contribute. I haven't even, started to make a fleet.
The game length is what's killing me. It's taking forever to play games up there. Most of them seem to be between 3 and 4.5 hours. It's nuts.
I believe it.
Yeah, between new players and people learning the platform,
Yeah.
I see that being a bit of a grind.
Yeah, TTS can just kind of be tedious in trying to use it especially if you're not familiar with it.
Yeah, this is my first game on it, so it's
It's an amazing platform to give you an opportunity to actually play a game if you're really far from other people. And at the point where I'm at, you guys have local gaming stores that are between 30 and 40 minutes away, or in Joseph's case, 10. But for me, the closest store I now have available is an hour and 20 minutes. And so I'm either playing at home or I'm playing with a friend, or I'm planning out a day where I'm saying I'm gonna go an hour and a half. I'm gonna hang out there for a couple hours, and I'm not gonna go and play a game for 30 minutes and then leave. I'd like to be there for enough time for it to be worth the trip. But I'm gonna keep playing with TTS because I want to see if I can get it working, and it'll help me figure out what I have to buy because I'm buying stuff, and I'm gonna use it as a way to test things out and fiddle with it.
I'd be willing
They only
to
have
pay
the
for a
core
paid
set.
module. Sorry, Joseph, go.
They only have the core set up there. None of the bigger chips yet.
Yes, and that's what I was about to say was I'd be willing to pay for a paid module because I know they're dumping a lot of resources into this just to have access to some of the larger ships like the Men of Wars and the ships of the line.
I can't imagine how long a game would go with those, though.
Oh Lord.
Actually, it might not go any slower. You just throw more dice.
That's what I'm thinking.
All right. Do we have anything else we want to bring up, or I think we're good for May. We managed to squeeze one in May, even though we've been stuck inside all day.
Can I plug one more thing on my blog?
Absolutely.
Of course.
Currently doing a photo contest up there. It's a kind of a long-term thing. It doesn't end till end of June, but people can submit any cool pictures they've taken of their games or models or ships or anything Blood and Plunder related. Got some fun prizes, some 17th century coins that you can use for fortune points.
Oh yes, I think I shared this because it was cool, and I'm gonna submit something soon. So, what is the
Nice.
deadline, and how would they submit?
Deadline is June 30th. You submit via email. There's an email address, which you just bloodandpigment@gmail.com. You can just submit pictures via email there. The trick is that I get your pictures and I can use them on my blog if I want to. So as long as you're all right with that, just let me know if you're okay with that, and if I can reference your name when I post those pictures. I'm still trying to have some articles I want to do for French and Dutch and other factions that I eventually will get to that I need good pictures to make it colorful. You can submit up to 10 pictures. Just make sure they don't get compressed too far when you attach them to an email. Those are the basics. I have a first, second, third, and then a random prize. So even if you submit pictures that aren't amazing, you'll have a chance to win a nice little 1 real Spanish coin from the 17th century. Those are the
I
basics.
feel like pictures are pretty fair trade for some illicitly gotten Spanish gold.
Yeah, and if I get more entries right now, I have quite a few, but if I get more, I'll up those prizes. Maybe even throw a 8 real piece, like $100 coin in there. So.
Ooh.
Wow.
All right. Well, piracy may be one way to make money, but submitting photos to a contest is another one.
Yeah, I'll do a midway post on the blog showing some of the pictures I've got so far, and I think I'll do that this week, June 1st or so.
All right. Well, I'm going to bug all of you guys to see if you guys want to paint and get together and motivate ourselves to get some stuff finished, probably in the next week. And I'll see if you guys want to pop in and we can have a paint and chat. I'll see if anybody else wants to pop in. We'll make it a big Google Meet, so anybody who listens to this podcast can pop in, and I'll post it on No Dice. And I'll
Can we
put
start at midnight?
Might need to give it more than a week, depending on publishing times.
We'll say 2 weeks. But I mean, my year is starting to wind down, so I'll actually have more time. Because believe it or not, I am actually doing stuff as a teacher still. So until June 12th, I'm going to be busy, but it'll be after June 12th. But we'll see if we can get it going and get something regular in the works. Because it's always motivating to paint when I have other people painting and I can see what you're up to. It's just fun to chat with people like we're doing now.
Yeah.
Nice. I'll throw out a personal challenge. I will be painting my bark.
All right. Okay. Here's what I'm going to paint my flute by the end of June. And let's see. There should be some kind of like reward if one of us finishes and the other one doesn't.
Well, I just meant I'm going to be painting my ship during this meet and paint thing that you want to do.
Oh, I want there to be stakes here. Like if you don't paint it, like something happens. I don't know.
Challenge that was posed to me whenever I was painting for Fall In. And Mitch can tell you, I thought I was going to die. I was awake I had to be there, I think, Friday. I was awake Friday morning. I just pulled an all-nighter, slammed 2 5-hour energies so that I would have 2.5 hours of just speed, and drove all the way there, got everything set up, and could feel my heartbeat in my throat. It was nuts. But I finished everything in time because if I did not, I had to sing the Neverland Pirate or Jake and the Neverland Pirates theme song.
That's right.
And post it to YouTube. I don't know who
Humiliation.
suggested that challenge, but I have never been more motivated to do something in my entire life.
Okay, so I would say we don't need to make Glenn sing or have me sing. I want to sing the pirate song or the VeggieTales song. But I would say that if somebody finishes by the end of June and the other one doesn't finish painting their ship,
COVID haircut.
the person no, because
I was
my
gonna say
hair is all
Tom.
I have.
I was gonna say Tom has to post a picture of his mullet.
I've had the same haircut since I was 5 years old because you don't mess with success. Okay. And so even though my wife cut my hair last month, she did an amazing job and it looks the same. So I would say if somebody finishes painting their ship, the other person doesn't, the person who failed to paint the ship has to buy like dinner or like a lunch, some meal at the next convention we actually get to go to together. How's that?
Sure, but you're wagering. I already said I'm doing a bark, and you instantly wagered a flute.
I did wager.
I would
a
go
flute.
for the
That's
sloop.
what
I would go
got.
for the sloop. If it's your first ship, is this your first ship or not?
My first ship.
Okay, I would do the sloop. The bark is or the flute is exponentially harder and larger.
Yeah, I haven't even started on mine yet.
I have to
What's that?
paint as a flute.
Do we each want to do a flute, Glenn?
Not by the end of June.
Okay, we say by the end of July. We do July then. How about that?
Well, no, okay. I still don't know if I'll ever have time to do anything.
That sounds like a coward.
How many hours of sleep are you getting? You can probably cut out 2 hours of sleep every night.
I mean, I'm already down to like 4 or 5, so you know.
Okay, well that's reasonable. That's what I do.
I'm sure I could get by on 3 for a couple days.
All right, Glenn. I'll tell you what. We'll hold off on making any wagers, but we will say.
No,
that the
okay,
next time
look. You've got a sloop. I've got a sloop. Let's do sloops. Let's leave the flute for later because I do need it for scenario gaming.
Okay.
But sloop by the end of June.
All right, let's do it then. I'll do a sloop by the end of
rigging
June.
is way easier.
And the person who doesn't get it painted would have to buy the other person a meal. And if we both succeed, we'll just each buy the other person a drink.
Works. Now, terms, I'm going to say that we don't need to have it fully rigged.
Correct. I would agree with that as a term.
Nah, you guys are chickens. You got to do the rigging too. It's not done.
I got to wait for Adam Horton to send me some nice sloop sales then.
Got till the end. They got a month. That's long enough.
Yeah. Well.
I don't know. Last time, well, I mean, he does amazing work, but I can't make sure that I'm like the top of the list. You know, if I order stuff from him, it could be a month.
Yeah, you can't jump the line. So I'd say let's just get it painted, and the rigging can come later. I'm fine with that as a term. I'm good with that.
Agreed.
All right, it's a gentleman's deal. We're digitally shaking hands right now.
All right.
June?
End of June.
End of June.
Okay.
Yeah, Tyler, the next month.
Next month is June, Tyler. I know that time is passing differently than it traditionally does,
Hey, man,
but
I don't.
calendar, started by the Romans, still in effect.
We have 32 days.
32 days to paint this ship. I got this, man.
What if I get my 6th rate done? You guys haven't finished your sloops.
Ooh, okay. Then I will.
You all owe me a chicken dinner.
I will.
Then-
Yeah, I'll give you dinner.
Then the next, hey,
Well, I'm never getting to the East Coast though.
I was going to say, Joseph, if you can make it to the East Coast, I'll buy you dinner.
Yeah, right.
I have no skin in this game.
Actually, I might be able to get a plane ticket cheaper than a dinner nowadays.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You might. You might. Just gotta wear a mask on a flight. That's all. All right. Well, it's late, and I did get up really early to clean out my classroom, so I'm gonna sort of wrap it up. But I'm going to start a tradition. And first of all, I'm going to thank Joseph for joining us. I would encourage people to check out Blood and Pigment, particularly if you're a new player, because he has a lot of stuff out there.
Or if you have questions about boats, because he did do an amazing ship overview series that I forgot to mention during the blog section of this.
Absolutely. And please contribute to the photo contest if you haven't already. It's a great motivator, because if you need a deadline like Glenn, it's good to have something to work for. Keep your eyes peeled for possible paint and sip kind of thing with us in a couple weeks when we can get our act together. And I will leave Glenn to say the last word, because I traditionally try to cut him off when I send the recording thing out. But I'm going to wait. Go ahead.
Well, everybody, it was great having you, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks so much for joining the show tonight. Remember to follow us on Twitter at No Dice, No Glory, and keep the conversation going on NoDiceNoGlory.com, now featuring our own message boards. Have a great night, everybody.